Boots and His Brothers by Sir George Webb Dasent. Once upon a time there was a man who had 3 sons, Peter, Paul, and John. John was Boots, of course, because he was the youngest. I can't say the man had anything more than these 3 sons, for he hadn't one penny to rub against another, and so he told his sons over and over again they must go out into the world and try to earn their bread, for there at home there was nothing to be looked for but starving. Now, a bit off the man's cottage was the king's palace, and you must know, just against the king's windows a great oak had sprung up, which was so stout and big that it took away all the light from the king's palace. The king had said he would give many, many dollars to the man who could fell the oak, but no one was man enough for that. For as soon as ever one chip of the oak's trunk flew off, 2 grew in its stead. A well, too, the king would have dug, which was to hold water for the whole year, for all his neighbors had wells, but he hadn't any, and that he thought was a shame. So the king said he would give anyone who could dig him such a well as would hold water for a whole year around, both money and goods, but no one could do it, for the king's palace lay high, high up on a hill, and they hadn't dug a few inches before they came upon the living rock. But as the king had set his heart on having these 2 things done, he had it given out far and wide in all the churches of his kingdom that he who could fell the big oak in the king's courtyard and get him a well that would hold water the whole year round should have the princess and half the kingdom. Well, you may easily know there was many a man who came to try his luck, but for all their hacking and hewing, all their digging and delving, it was no good. The oak got bigger and stouter at every stroke, and the rocks didn't get any softer either. So one day these 3 brothers thought they'd set off and try too, and their father hadn't a word against it, for even if they didn't get the princess and half the kingdom, it might happen they might get a place somewhere with a good master, and that was all he wanted. So when the brothers said they thought of going to the palace, their father said yes at once. So Peter, Paul, and Jack went off from their home. Well, they hadn't gone far before they came to a fir wood, and up along one side of it rose a steep hillside, and as they went, they heard something hewing and hacking away up on the hill among the trees. "I wonder now what it is that is hewing away up yonder," said Jack. "You're always so clever with your wondering," said Peter and Paul both at once. "What wonder is it, pray, that a woodcutter should stand and hack up on a hillside? Still, I'd like to see what it is after all," said Jack, and up he went. "Oh, if you're such a child, 'twill do you good to go and take a lesson," bawled out his brothers after him. But Jack didn't care for what they said. He climbed the steep hillside toward where the noise came, and when he reached the place, what do you think he saw? Why, an axe that stood there hacking and hewing all of itself at the trunk of a fir. "Good day," said Jack. "Do you stand there all alone and hew, do you?" "Yes, here I've stood and hewed and hacked a long, long time, waiting for you," said the axe. "Well, here I am at last," said Jack, as he took the axe, pulled off its haft, and stuffed both head and haft into his wallet. So when he got down again to his brothers, they began to jeer and laugh at him.